Oh! Sorry, I was just getting my kicks at the expense of human tragedy. You know what's an uncomfortable thing to do? Laughing at Nazis. Apparently watching Inglourious Basterds and The Great Dictator didn't fill me with enough cognitive dissonance because someone out there decided to go and make a role-playing Gmod where everyone pretends to be living in Nazi Germany. And it's a great example of how the internet works. It's a tasteless and offensive exercise in shock humor because all of its serious implications got degraded through social online noise. You see, the 1942 RP mod is a mod of Garry's mod, which is a mod of Half-Life 2 where you and your friends would run around and build things with the game assets. And then there are people who do role-playing in it. They pretend to be specific professional roles that all have to work together and play as their pretend professionals, and they make a weird escapist ritual out of it that's actually like an internet thing for shits and giggles or for serious, I don't know. Oh man, this internet thing is crazy. It's like the goddamn Wild West out here. People seem to be getting away with anything. And maybe that's because the environment kinda encourages it. After all, on most online multiplayer games, you're taking human interaction and putting it in a themed virtual pressure cooker, and then you're degrading it through online anonymity, communication limitations, and fantastical implications. And the end result is probably something stupid. So after getting an invite from a friend, I found the players recreating the historical occupation of Europe with painstaking detail. Just look at how accurate they made the old giant red error signs. So the closest thing to an objective in this game is to organize your friends into a resistance and assassinate Hitler. Or if you want to recreate the Stanford prison experiment, you can play as a Nazi policeman and frisk everyone because you know that somewhere out there, there's a secret resistance army out to get you. Or you can just settle down and open up a bakery. But I wanted to shoot Nazis, so I decided to join the Resistance. The Resistance had dug into the local church, using it as cover for their campaign against the Gestapo. Our plan? Rile up the Reich with a massive gay wedding. A huge publicity campaign would gather the SS inside, where a choke point entrance and hidden gunners would block their escape. I was to be the groom. At the right time, my husband would say the code words and we'd open fire. The two words that would trigger the beginning of the end? I do.
So wait, I don't get it. Should I, like, say, oh god! Oh god damn it, I do! Shit! God damn it, get out of the way! Jesus Christ!
Storm the streets! Yeah, down with the Reich! Viva equality, bitches! Ow. The revolution backfired. Even after death and resurrection, I found myself picking up a rifle and continuing the same fight. We were holed up in a dirty apartment and cornered. Our leader was panicking, and we still weren't officially married.
What am I doing with my life?
What about us, god damn it? Here I am, wanted for murder, hiding in this dingy apartment, and all the leadership cares about is himself.
I'm sorry. I have failed you all.
Our honeymoon was cut short. I was awfully good at killing, but couldn't keep it up forever. My allies were trying to hide me, but the Gestapo was coming. My cover was blown.
Don't shoot, they're coming up. Get back in the door. No one up here. There isn't.
I know.
There isn't. The guy's gonna shoot me if I'm so.
Let's arrest him. Shoot him. He was the man who killed me.
A few hours later, we were scheming our next move in the sewers when Hitler himself butted into our secret meeting. We weren't doing anything illegal, so they couldn't arrest us, but they knew something was up.
Dance. Dance for your Führer.
We did as he said. We danced. And then, amidst the euphoric rush of positive feelings, it happened. The world won.
Victor,
I have good news.
lock the door so they can't
Dancing
open
has
up
changed my mind. I'm calling on World War II. World War II is over, guys.
That was a whole
Look at my set.
Let's take this party to the beers off it.
Let's take this to my
This fabulously gay death march wasn't the end, though. The war was over, but me and my buddies had one last job to do. In the middle of the most degrading gaming experience of my life, I heard a gunshot. Everyone scattered, and all I knew was that the war was back on. I took out as many guards as I could, and holy shit, that's him! We actually assassinated Hitler! That was awesome! It was awesome! You have this very active scene of multiplayer online story makers, and it's made possible by a game system that encourages equal amounts of cooperation and backstabbing. It's not about immersion or skill, but about being creative with player relationships. Garry's mod was originally built so people could play with the props, objects, and the physics engine of Half-Life. But nowadays, there are a lot of variants on the game that actually encourage players to play with each other instead. And when you combine it with a bunch of anonymous pranksters with microphones, it's so fun. At the same time, though, it is kind of a visual clusterfuck, and it's not exactly the pinnacle of elegant design, and there's also that one big elephant in the room. Nazis. As the night went on, I started to wonder if I was a bad person for enjoying this.
Wow. I'm totally going to hell for this.
Dude, I don't know, they're like Nazis. At first I thought I'd be in for a game with a fairly heavy tone, but actually it's not really that heavy at all. And that's because all this Nazism is kinda used for an irreverent sense of humor. Most of the weight of the original symbolism is degraded because of digital noise, and there's a shitload of contextual dissonance going on when you have a laggy 10-year-old Gestapo kicking down the doors of the blandest looking grey rooms ever. They defuse the seriousness of this setting and actually put it in an ironic place. It's comedy. It looks at its subject matter and observes it beyond its ordinary functions. Nazi Germany got adapted into a social party game that thrives on lies, schemes, and deceit. The desperate power struggle of a collapsing authoritarian government plays a whole lot like a video game version of Werewolves. Hilarious and absurdly funny gameplay is the end result. It's fun and it's funny, and unfortunately it was too much of both to continue existing in an unadulterated form. In response to the chaotic nature of these player-driven events, the server now requires people to pay to choose one of the weapons dealer classes. The Resistance has to get their guns from these guys, and there's a very small cap on how many players can take these roles. Plus, half the fun of the game is sneaking away to buy weapons and then hide them from the Nazis. It's a pretty important function that makes this game work, and of course, with the admins actually charging real money for necessary game functions and a free mod for a paid product, I'm guessing that their market for these upgrades is incredibly slim. The frequency of these kinds of crazy player-generated events has decreased, and what's sad is that the community having so much fun with this game might not be able to keep itself up for much longer. And there it goes. Just another bizarre, hyper-concentrated blip of fleeting online hilarity that may not come again. But it reminded me of something that a lot of games lack.
It's really quite full of humanity.
It was all roleplay, so all these character roles were played by humans, and the game's mechanics all involve the complex interplay between organic and unpredictable human relationships. It's weird, refreshing, liberating, and entertaining to be playing a game that churns you through a system made of people instead of cold, harsh mechanics. The unfortunate reality is that it was too much fun to continue existing like that, and had to be toned down by people who were taking the game too seriously and not taking the concept of the game seriously enough. Maybe they'll see the light. Maybe not. It's not easy to maintain this sort of thing, but it may be worth it. You just don't find this kind of shared experience anywhere else. It's so full of humanity that it's a truly unique adventure every time. That might be why it's worth supporting.
Yeah, fucking shit.
George, do you feel kind of awkward right now? Being forced to dance for Hitler's amusement?